Hi, this is Nicola at The Puppy Nanny. So for today's video, we are going to teach your puppy how to sit. Hopefully you have already spent some time charging the clicker with them because you'll need them to understand what the clicker means before we start teaching them to do a sit. What we're going to do is we're going to use a technique called lure and reward. So we're luring them into the sit position, and then once they're in the sit position, we're clicking and treating. So you use the treat to get them into the position, and then as soon as their bottom touches the floor, we're going to click and we're going to let them have that treat as a reward, and then it's going to be a case of repeating it. So the video I'm going to show you now is me working with Ollie again, the Cavapoo puppy. So we've just done some clicker charging with Ollie, and now we're going to move on to showing him how to work on the sit. So let's have a look. Right, so here we go. So as before, I've got a little tub on the shelf next to me with some little pieces of cheese in, and then in my left hand, I've got my clicker. I'm taking a piece of cheese and I'm holding it in front of Ollie's nose, and then I'm lifting it up and over. So I'm kind of lifting it up and then aiming towards his tail. And then his nose goes up and his head goes up, follows that treat up. And as he does that, his bottom goes down. Now, a couple of times what he does is his two front paws come up off the mats and he ends up in a little bit of a begging kind of position, but we don't want to reward that. So what I'm then doing is I'm waiting for his two front paws to be back on the floor before I click and then let him have the treat. So it's lure him up with the treat, bottom touches the floor, click, and then let him have that treat as a reward. And there you have it. That's how to teach a sit. So I hope that's helpful, and I hope you can see from that video how to teach a sit using the lure and reward technique. Once they've got the hang of this, we want to get to the point where we can phase the treat out. So we don't want them only doing a sit when they can see that you've got a treat in your hand. So to phase out the treat, what you would do is you would put the treat in the other hand. So the treat's going to be in the same hand as the clicker, and you'd still pretend you've got a treat in your hand. So you're still holding your hand exactly the same as you were when you had the treat in your hand, and you're still moving it in exactly the same way. So they still think that you're luring them with a treat in your hand. And then you're going to repeat that, and then as soon as their bottom touches the floor, you're going to click and give them the treat from the other hand instead. So they're still getting a treat as a reward every single time, but it's just coming from the other hand. And that way they will learn that even if there isn't a treat in the hand that you're doing the luring with, they're still going to get a treat as a reward, and then we can start to change this hand into a hand signal. I would probably spend a day working on it using the treat in your hand as the lure, and then I would move on to trying to get rid of the treat as a lure and just using it as a reward. So I would spend 5 minutes a couple of times a day luring, clicking, and then treating when their bottom touches the floor. And then I would think if they've got the hang of it and they're doing really well, and every time you do it they are doing a sit, then I would look at starting to remove that treat and put it in the other hand instead, ready to reward them. Okay, enjoy.